Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming back to view another episode of Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends. We have a great show for you this afternoon. In fact, why don't you go ahead and share this with someone who you know is trying to start or grow their business? They will not want to miss this. So, again, we are going to be joined by J4G members. Every guest that you see is a member of J4G, and they're also some bad girl bosses. So they're going to share with you their secrets of success. I know this information could cost you hundreds. We're giving it to you hot here for no cost at all. So, again, thank you for being here. Before we jump right into it, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm sure we have some new viewers out there. I am Michelle Skinner. I am a member of J4G and have been for almost 4 years now. I am also serving on the board of directors, and I manage all of Just for Girlfriends social media sites. So you'll see our handles scrolling along the bottom of the screen. Please join us on social media. We have all sorts of fun and exciting things going on over there. I'll turn it over to Robin.
Hi, everybody. I am Robin McFarland, a proud member of J4G, a part of the board as well. Claim to fame is I'm the first Just for Girlfriends member as well. And they're going to be dropping some knowledge today. So let's get it started.
Wonderful. Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angelique David. I am the founder and CEO of Just for Girlfriends. For all of our new viewers out there, Just for Girlfriends was formed on the premise that women are always so busy doing everything and for everyone that we often forget about ourselves. So Just for Girlfriends is your solution. What we do is we help women embrace self-care and self-preservation by bringing you unique and engaging experiences, as well as a sisterhood, as well as many, many resources. So we just share and help each other. Really, we're based on the premise that it takes a village to get through this thing called life. I want to say we have 2 live locations. Chicago, we run live events in Chicago. And I see we have a lot of DMV people watching. We have a live location in DMV. So we run live events. And in fact, you're going to see the members that are on today. Some are from Chicago, some are from the DMV area. So please go to justforgirlfriends.com, scrolling below, and join us. You just click on the join button and join us.
Absolutely. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Let's jump right into it. We are joined first by 2 of our members that are in the Chicago area, Tanya Bird Neely and Bambi Montgomery.
Hi, welcome, ladies.
Welcome, guys. Tanya and Bambi are going to represent sort of brick and mortar businesses. So there are 2 of our members who have done that very well, and they're here to share with you. Why don't we start with Tanya? Tanya, introduce yourself and your business, please.
Hi, my name is Tanya Bird Neely. I am a J4G member as well. And I like to say that, and I'm also a discount partner. But yes, I am the owner of Wired the Design Boutique, which is located in Flossmoor, Illinois.
Awesome. Bambi, please do the same.
Hi, my name is Bambi Montgomery. I'm the owner of Honey Child Salon and Spa. I'm the owner of Hive Luxury Fragrances, and I'm the owner of Everything Bambi Enterprises.
Awesome. So, ladies, there are some people watching and some people that will catch the replay that are either thinking about starting their business, running it smoothly, or even growing their business, their brick and mortar businesses. So why don't you start first? And I'd like for each of you to answer this. What was your motivation for starting your company?
For me, my motivation was to have freedom, right? And freedom as an entrepreneur to control my time. Not that I don't work a lot. I do. Most people think entrepreneurs, you just made it already, but no, that's when you work the hardest. But I have full control over that time. So that was the motivating factor for me. And also to have the ability to help and hire the people that I desire to.
I love that.
That is powerful. Tanya, why did you start your business?
So I started my business, and of course, I run a retail space, right? And I've been in retail over 30 years. So as a manager in retail during the holidays, I just didn't have the flexibility to be a mom at the same time. And I have two sets of kids. So when I remarried and I ended up being a new mom all over, what I call a new mom, a second chance at a new mom again, I decided that if I was going to be in retail, then I needed to be in retail for myself, where it was okay to bring the girls to work with me. And if I'm going to work long hours, the flexibility to be able to leave, pick them up from school, manage the time where it works for me around being a Girl Scout mother and anything else, being a part of PTO, where with my first set of kids, I wasn't able to do that being in retail. Whereas now I'm able to do just about my mommy duties and also be a manager of my own business and have the flexibility.
I totally can relate to that. Absolutely.
One thing that I'm going to jump into, I usually on this show, I usually take a financial aspect. And so one of the things that a lot of time, especially Black and brown entrepreneurs face is we might not necessarily have that seed capital. We don't always have the financial investors. So can you talk about that? How did you get started? Because I think that is often the biggest barrier. We can't get bank loans in the same way. How did you get the money? Did you use your own money? Did you find seed capital? Did you have angel investors? How did you find the finances to start a business?
Well, I'll start off by saying, I'll start first, baby.
Go ahead.
For me, I will call them, as you would say, angel investors. I'm blessed enough to say that when it was time for me to start my own business, I had a lot of support from my family members and my sister, who had just started her own firm maybe a year prior to me, and was like, hey, if you're going to do this, then I'm willing to be a silent partner and actually, a silent investor, let me correct it, and loan you the money to start your business. So I was able to start my business and do a build out and order product with with an investor who was a family member. So
That kind of reminds me that we need to look at who are our potential resources, who in our circle, can support us. I think that's a great first place to look. Vivian, sorry, go ahead.
For me, I'm an exception to that rule. I was very fortunate. For me, I credit faith. I'm an accidental hairdresser. I went to beauty school just to work my way through college. And getting out of college, there was no room in the perfume industry for someone who looked like me. So I feel like I was forced to be an entrepreneur. And right around the time that I was thinking about opening my own salon, I had a client at the time that believed in me, who wrote me a check for $250,000.
Wow.
And I to open a business. The second business that I opened was in Los Cabos, Mexico. And because Honey Child was so successful, I was able to invest in myself. And I had some employees that I wanted to help and grow them as well. So I offered a really delicious little partnership in learning how to own your own business and giving them shares in exchange for work and for capital. So it was building on other entrepreneurs for me, especially out of the country, to give people that opportunity to do business abroad. And then after that, I was able to fund my own projects. But I always am an advocate for using other people's money for your project.
When you can, yeah. I think that's a golden rule somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That is how most businesses are started, is through these circles of friends and family, circles of investors. And I think it's important that we always think about that when we're in our circles, when we have someone, there's opportunities for groups like J4G. Maybe that's something that we should start thinking about, is do we create some type of business fund? So there's opportunities there.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's
And
great.
then what about, how do you move from wanting to have a business to a business plan, knowing how to run a business and making it successful? Just from the idea to actual fruition.
I think for me, because I have been managing other corporations for so long, that over time in my retail career, I mean, I probably held every position that you could probably think of in a management role, from visual to merchandising to operations. So when it was time for me to build on my dream, I was able to sit down, create a business plan of what it needed to look like, and then move right into the role of opening up the brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I
I
think it came with experience.
Mhm.
I agree with that. A business plan to me is like a map. And to me, it's not like a solid document, it's always moving. So it's a guesstimate. And, you know, it forecasts what you can expect in your business the first year, the second year, and so on.
Mhm.
But it adjusts. You know, sometimes you have a good year, sometimes it might not be, or a good month. So it's a living document for me, but it serves as a map. So I know where my company is at all times,
Mhm.
and I know where my companies are
Yes.
growing. So I think it's
Mhm.
essential to have a business plan. Not the old ones like back in the day when I got started, they were like 300 pages. Ain't nobody got time to read that no more.
Right, I
So
agree. I agree.
quick and
Yeah.
I agree.
concise, right?
Yeah.
You know, my gosh, this is such great information. You know, you have to sort of look at what you're good at and go with that. But we have Kelvin Kibler in the comments is asking about the steps that you took to develop your proposals. Did you have mentors, or how did you go about putting your plans on paper, something that you could use, like you said, as a map?
I hired
Well,
an
again,
attorney.
I think for me, I'm sorry, Bammy. I think for me, my roadmap again came with the experience, because, like I say, I started off managing companies at a very young age, and I was able to take the experiences from each company and each role that I held, and was able to put it into a map of what of the road that I needed to go on my own journey.
Mhm.
So the
Bam-
so experience for me.
Bambi, what were you saying?
So for me, it was again leveraging relationships. So the first thing for me, once money is always an obstacle for us, but for me,
Mhm.
money is my anointing. It just happens to come to me. So for me, the most important thing was relationships. So I built a team first because I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I didn't know what I was doing. I knew how to love on people. I knew how to attract and keep people. I knew how to groom future professionals. So with that, I stayed in my lane. So I built a team first. I hired an attorney. I had my accountant. Those are the most important people to me, and they have a set of skills that I don't have. So my team, when I sit to meet with them to grow these businesses, or in starting, everybody in that room knew something that I did not know. So I was
Mhm.
able to grow my business at a faster scale because I relied on trusted people that have walked in those shoes first. I never get directions from somebody that ain't been nowhere. Okay. So,
Wow.
I agree.
All right.
yeah. So I leveraged those relationships to help me build a solid plan that I could just jump from, because the plan to me was solid, but I saw something more. You know, people around you want to keep you safe and not have you jump so far ahead, which is wise to take that into consideration. But when you are the person taking all of the risks, then you know you have a vision that other people, their job is just to support my vision. That's it, right? Not to change it, not to alter it. So to stay true to that plan and what I saw for myself was quintessential.
I think what you just said is so, so key, especially with respect to relationships, whether it's in businesses that I have run for myself or this investment bank that I run for my day job. The relationships over and over again, those relationships are what help you. The other thing that you said that I love and I always say is, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. If I'm the smartest person in the room, that's not the room for me. I need to go, because you always want to be growing and you need people who have different expertise than you, especially when you're an entrepreneur. Otherwise, you won't move forward and you won't get things done. You know, a testament to Bambi's, growing relationships. I met actually both Bambi and Tanya in their business. I was a client of Bambi's and then bought product from Tanya. And both of you are great at relationships because we developed a relationship pretty quickly. Then we grew it. And here we are. I think I've known Bambi for 20 plus years and Tanya for probably going on 10.
I know. How can you know her?
I mean,
21,
I was,
right?
I was 10 when we met. I mean, I was a child. What are you talking about? You was a teenager and I was a child. What are you talking about?
Wow.
Yeah. The other thing that you said, Bambi, that just made my heart smile was plan, but not so much that it's stagnant, that you're always planning, but you're planning and moving and making relationship, but you have a plan and have a vision, and you clearly thought that out to some extent to be able to go network and to be able to communicate your vision and find the right people and that sort of thing. And planning is just so key. They say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it sounds like you did quite a bit of that, both of you.
Planning
There
to
was a
me
question.
is currency.
Oh, go ahead.
You know, planning is currency, right? So currency, of currency moves, right? Nothing flows in stagnant water. Nothing grows there, nothing flourishes there. You have to move. You have to have currency. So you have to be flexible with your plan. So when I was doing another business out of the country, of course, my lawyer and everybody was like, no, don't do that. This is your cash cow. Don't do that. I'm like, if I did it here, look at Coca-Cola, look at McDonald's. If they can do that, why can't I do that? Because people sometimes, they want to play it safe. And I get that because they want to protect me. And sometimes I listen and thank God I did. So you have to know how to trust what your gut and which, for me, your spirit is telling you to do and follow those things. But it has to be a flexible plan.
Yeah.
You know, and that is what really resonated with me because I'm a planner. And what I have had to learn is that you can't be so wedded to the plan. It's like you said, it's a living document.
Yes.
Some of those things you loved, you thought were really hot, may not be the way to go. You have to be able to let go of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that because I think that is key. We have Angela Clark. She's in the audience. She's talking about, or she's asking about other businesses that you can start, or what other ways can you start a business? Say, for instance, if you don't have family that can help or someone that is offering to help. Do you guys know any resources that help entrepreneurs start their own business?
To me, if you don't have the relationships in your own family or your friends or your colleagues to help you, there's a whole network of angel investors that are out there. There's tons of grant money, especially with all that we've been going through with, COVID and, both pandemics. Let's just put that out there. With all of that, there's a lot of accessible money to us that usually we don't hear about until it's over, right? So these things are now a little more available. Not a lot. They're still trying to hide. But there are some things that are available to us. There's so many networks, especially for women, minority women, to tap into that are free to us to say, hey, I'm looking for X amount of money. I have my plan. This is my vision. And this is how much money. Now, that person might not have your whole total money, but they can get you started and then get you into the next thing. But for real, the first thing, I like to invest in other businesses. To me, you don't have to own 100% of anything, right? If I have 10% of 10 businesses, I have 100% of something, right? So align with somebody, partner with them, right? So that you could, have your own thing. But also investors like me, I want you to have some skin in the game. Some, it doesn't have to be everything. And to me, it has to be sacrificial because I'm sacrificing my money to invest in you. So I'm a small time venture capitalist, but I love to give back. So with that, you have to have some skin in the game. So I know you're as serious and dedicated as my money about to be, right? So I think that's important to save first, right? You can't go into a new business and thrive if you weren't about your mortgage not getting paid or your cell phone getting cut off.
Right.
That's not entrepreneurship, especially when you are grown. That is a disaster waiting to happen because you can't even think creatively or thrive as an entrepreneur if you are stressed out about your money. That cannot be the problem.
Yeah,
very
And
true. there may I want to make sure that we have time to get to, because we have more businesses behind the scenes.
That's true. But now that
let me say one thing, we're going to bring everybody back. But before we pull you backstage, what do you wish you had known or done before starting your business?
That everything was going to be all right, because I was worried to death. I opened up the business, with someone's money, $250,000. I had another investor for $50,000. This is a $350,000 venture. Was in my 20s. I had no idea what I was doing outside of being a good hairdresser and being a good person. So I had to learn everything. I did not have a mentor, which there was none available to me because nobody at that time, I couldn't see anybody doing what I was doing. So I trailblazed that for myself, but it is always wise to have a mentor. So for me, if I had a chance to tell myself something over again, is just don't worry. My path is already laid out for me. What is meant for me is already mine, right?
Yeah.
So to remember that when things don't happen, when Bambi wants them to happen, which is always yesterday and right now. So when things don't happen, in that way, you start to stress out. And I have to remind myself of that even today, because I'm still dreaming. I'm still doing business, new businesses that I haven't done before. I'm still learning. So I have to really, tap in and not stress about the process and enjoy the journey, no matter when it gets difficult, to still hold on to your joy.
Bambi, I know you. Amen. It wasn't yesterday and right now. It was last week and last week.
I got thick thighs and thin patience. You hear me?
Tanya?
I have to agree with Bambi. It's all about trusting the process. I mean, I am a worrier and I don't sleep at night because my wheels are constantly turning, and I just have to trust the process. So I have to agree with Bambi.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yes.
Tone down the stress, you can enjoy the journey. Yeah.
That's another one too. That's so important, not to sacrifice it all. I sacrificed so much from my businesses, marriages, having children, going to events like baby showers. I can never get that back. So just making time and having balance in my life, I wished I'd known earlier.
Yeah. Right. And I feel like what Janet Flowers just shared with us, do it afraid, That's what you have to do. You have to do it afraid and know that it's going to be all right. Well, ladies, thank you for sharing. Like Angelique mentioned, we'll bring you back out for any last minute comments and advice. But right now, let's bring out Miss Sherelle Fuller and Miss Robin Appiah. They're going to share with us consulting services, the different types of businesses. Hi, ladies, and welcome to Real Talk. Appreciate you being here. Sherelle, why don't you start? Introduce yourself and your business, and then we'll turn it over to Robin to do the same.
You're on mute, Sherelle.
On mute, Sherelle. I'm so sorry.
Hello, I am Sherelle Fuller, and I'm the co-founder of Spot City. Spot City, I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go through the process here. Okay. Thanks for having me.
Robin.
Hi. Hey, how you doing, Michelle? Thank you all for having me on your panel. I'm Robin Appiah, and I'm the founder and CEO of Educology Solutions. And we're a IT consulting company based in Washington, D.C. Our main focuses are project management, system integration, cybersecurity training. Those are our core capabilities. We've been in existence for about 13 years now, since 2008.
That's amazing. That's great. Okay, we're going to get right into it because we have people viewing from all over the country, and I'm sure they could benefit from some of the advice that you have. Because I know consulting services, or the type of services that you provide, is a little bit different from our goods and services that our first guest shared. So can you talk a little bit about how your clients have changed? It seems like everything has changed since the pandemic. How have your clients changed, or the ones that you service?
Sure. I'll start. So SpotCity.com, we are a software company. So we're in technology. And what we do is we provide an opportunity for diverse and small businesses to subscribe in order for us to help promote and grow your business. So because obviously we're in technology, and what became even more prevalent when the pandemic happened was technology, right? Was software, because we became a remote society in an instance.
Yeah.
So what has happened, clients that weren't extremely comfortable with technology, they became to develop a little bit of a comfort level. And Spot City, because what we do, we promote these businesses because we knew things like social media. I think Bambi said she became a business because she knew hair, and that happened by mistake. Well, a lot of businesses, they happen as a result of their talent, not necessarily the reverse. So I'm good at hair, and it just makes sense that I own my own business, right? Because economically that makes sense. I'm good at clothes. I like clothes. In the business, I started my own company, kind of how Tanya talked about. She started her company because she wanted the flexibility. So my clients have absolutely changed. What I'm loving is that I recently talked to a subscriber that said, you know what, I'm getting a lot more calls because we are promoting these businesses. We're doing a piece of that business that is necessary that people don't have time to do. So she's like, I'm getting a lot more calls because, yeah, it's my job to promote these businesses in social media and to use data analytics, which my background is technology, to help grow and support businesses.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. So, Robin, what have you seen change during the course of your business, especially now that we're sort of in this pandemic, one foot out, I hope.
Right, right. I think so too, definitely. Well, actually, surprisingly, my clients have, gotten a lot better. Actually, I've always had great rapport when I was an employee or actually a contractor for working for someone. When I spun off and started my own IT company, I found that those people that I worked for, I think they knew I did a great job. They knew I did well. So I think they realized that I was going to build my company like that. So they also, I think, invested in my company, say, if you did a great job, you did well, then I know your company must be based off the same foundation and fundamentals. So during the pandemic or during the time, they were easily, when they had an opportunity, because we have to bid on the work I do, we bid on contracts. So a lot of times a customer will come to me and say, hey, I have this opportunity coming up. I want your company to get it. I want you to do this. I myself am an 8A company. That's one of the certification I have. So they can sole source work to us. So if they know we have the capabilities, we know we can do great, they say, hey, you've done great jobs. I have these 2 positions coming up. I want to give it to you. So for me, it's been really wonderful. I have the advantage that I'm on contract a lot, so they know me. So my customers have been really, really supportive of me starting my own company.
One thing, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to comment real quickly. They always say when you're doing some work for somebody, no matter how small, put your best foot forward. And that's a great example. You never know what's going to happen down the line, and when they remember that special touch. Yeah,
So
That's very, very true. One thing that is a clear distinction between the businesses that both you have described versus our prior guest, or they're kind of more B2C, business to customer, individual customer. You're more B2B, business to business. And so when you're doing consulting and you really are being hired by companies, can you tell us, how do you get those clients? How do you build those relationships? How are you making that happen? Two-part question number one. And how do you grow that? How is that sustainable? Are there more of you behind the scenes? How do you grow that since you have to do the work? Robin?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we work with actual government agencies as well as companies, like you say, as well. So most of the time when we try to go for work, they have different vehicles that they come out on. So nowadays, I don't know, and you probably know, Sherelle, in the contracting world, you have to be on these blanket purchase orders, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to bid to be a part of like a vehicle. So for example, I'm on like Department of Treasury. They'll put out an opportunity on this vehicle, and then I have people behind me that look for those being released, and they come out and they say, oh, this is in our wheelhouse. This is our capability. So then we go and we would have to write a response to that. My HR department would have to staff for that work, and then we would actually respond and bid on it. With other companies, what we do is we try to find other companies that are doing work that don't have our capabilities, maybe, and they need our skill set. So we'll establish a relationship with them, and we'll become a subcontractor to them. And then we'll bid on the work that's coming out through the different vehicles that they have. And then we'll get work that way. So therefore, we are very vast, and, it helps our pipeline to be able to be more in depth. Okay. Yeah. So in the government industry, you have to be, they have different vehicles. Like 8A, they have a GSA schedule you have to be part of, or you have to be on, if you're Hub Zone, they have Hub Zone or Oasis. They're different vehicles that you're part of. That's how we get work to us, come to us. Right.
So, Robin, are these various vehicles listed somewhere? How can someone go and make sure they're in the right
Right.
vehicle to get work for them? Mhm.
Right. So for government, they have things like FedBizOps. They have FedBizOps is a primary one that are released to come out. And now because they have like the GSA is huge, but the GSA schedule, you have to actually apply your company, and it's writing into your financials, writing your capabilities, everything to be a part of this. And once you become awarded schedule, as they call it, then they send these opportunities to you. It's a portal they have, and you go on it, you log on it, and you look for things within your capability. So in the government contract, you really have to be a part of almost like the in-group, some kind of schedule so that you'll get the opportunities. Or you can go like FedBizOp is open, it's full and open a lot of times. And then a lot of companies now, we're state-based, like DC, we have our own district portal that we can go to and log on. It's called Ariba. Maryland has their own MBE, as you see, on the East Coast, but they have them all the state, right? And then you can qualify yourself to be part of those different vehicles.
I like that.
So that's a great question. And Robin talked about a lot of things that we help on the spotcity.com side. But to answer your question, Angelique, when you talk about B2B, it is a different proposition because B2B, some things people don't think about. It's a longer sales cycle and it's a longer revenue payment cycle because there are things people don't think about. For instance, you might be on a net 90 with a major corporation, whereas that brick and mortar, someone comes in and you do that point of sale right there. So how I generate more business. So as I mentioned, my background is technology and sales. So I understand the pursuit of a sale because that's what I have done in my career for major corporations. So a lot of times on the corporate side, I find pain points of customers by doing a lot of research to find out what are they doing, because it's all about the value and what I can bring to solve a problem for them. I always say everybody's selling something, but are they selling something that the people need at that time? So I do a lot of email pursuit. I do calls, and I look for opportunities where I have something that they need that will either help them make money, save money, or generate a long-term strategy. So it's a pursuit, and it's absolutely a longer sales cycle, and you have to be prepared to then, if you get that opportunity, you have to be prepared, especially if you're offering a product, you have to be prepared then to have enough product to kind of produce in the speed that they want to see things happen. So this is some of the things on our Spot City side. We help teach those folks that become subscribers on spotcity.com. On our customer side, I actually have a software that we sell into major corporations to help them procure with small and diverse businesses.
I like that. Right. So as we were talking about before about having a mentor, your Spot City is sort of the mentor that every small business needs. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Robin, were you getting ready to say something? I'm sorry if I couldn't.
No, I was just going to say the one thing that keeps picking up. Oh, I'm sorry, the other Robin. I'm so sorry. Okay. The one thing that I'm picking up on is, and I heard this before from our ladies doing brick and mortar, is research, right? Like you just cannot. When you talk about planning and investing and putting your time into something. And I know Sherelle personally, she's like one of the best researchers that I know when we talk about business. Now I can do some personal social media stuff, but Sherelle has a way of researching and finding on the rocks. And I'm sure Robin A has done the same, but research seems to be a big part of entrepreneurship as well. I think that's great for people to understand and know as I hear you all talk. It is not a small part of what you all do. It seems like a pretty big part.
Yeah, and that research goes for all types of businesses, even brick and mortar, because you need to know who are your competitors around you. Yep. When you're going into any business, you want to know who are your competitors. What are they doing? What's the market for your particular product or services? How much should you charge for your products or services? Right. that all goes back into that business plan that we talked about at the beginning, so that when you finally launch, you have a full launching plan. You're thinking about your marketing, you're thinking about your finances, it's lots of different pieces. And I love, Sherelle, that Spot City is a one-stop resource for small businesses to capture all of that, because it can be overwhelming if you're an individual entrepreneur and you might not have these skill sets or know where to even start.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah, and dealing with even Robin A. and the consulting. I know for work, I have to use a lot of what we call vendors, right? And we're getting tons of RFPs and responding. And right, Robin's pitch got to be something that I want to hear in order for me to select her, because there could be many things out there that I'm not getting. So that relationship piece is just resonating here as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And things have changed a lot. But you used to be able to actually go into an office and shake hands, meet eyes, and talk and understand what their weaknesses were and align your company with that. Now the internet is basically what you have to do, you know, because these cords are not, they're not forwarding these numbers to their home phone at all. So you can't reach them as easily.
Absolutely.
I also know virtually, right? They want everybody on the cameras. I'm talking to the vendors.
Yeah.
People don't want to come on the camera. You don't want to see them.
Right,
Like it's a different thing in the last 18 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be able to present yourself differently. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sure.
No, I was going to say, Robin, you make a great point, because you're right. How we knew how to do business, where you go. I always felt I'm way better face to face than I am, because now, you know, I'm developing, I'm seeing a person, I'm working, and having to change where people had to now convert and learn how to be available to their clientele in a real way, to provide a service to them. So you're absolutely right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Have you, or has this changed? Have you encountered people, you know, currently there is so much information available on the web. So people do a couple Google searches and all of a sudden they're an expert in your field. Have you had to change the way you market and sell your services because of so much information that is now available on the web?
Right. Yeah, it's amazing, because now even with our company, you almost have to have a line item on your accounting system now for social virtual media, you know, because it used to just be your website, but now you need, you know, the Twitter, the LinkedIn, and everything to uniquely go across, so that people, even when they want to Google you, in my business, people want to search for me and they want to say, hey, do we want this person to do the work? So they need to know that, you know, my brand, know that we are, you know, reliable and committable. So the web is, and when we search for them, that's what we look for, you know. We always tell our kids to not put crazy stuff on Facebook, but heck, as a company, you got to put crazy stuff in there, because it will define your company and you can be blackballed, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very different.
Yeah, the web has absolutely changed things, because the digital world has changed how we live, right? So it was a time where we had to go out and purchase what we want. It comes right to our door with touching on our mobile phones today. So understanding how to show yourself on social media is so instrumental to business. It can make that difference of somebody deciding to do business with you or not do business with you. So I have found, you know, using algorithms, some of the things we do for SpotCity.com is we absolutely leverage data to drive people to find you based on shopping patterns and all of that great stuff. I have absolutely found that your presence, and you're right, Robin, again, going back to, people don't have time to become this social media guru, you know, in addition to running their businesses, you know, wearing what other hats, because that's just a part of who you are. You got other hats that you wear as well.
Absolutely.
So it absolutely has changed the way we live. And I have decided to use it in a way to create the change I want, because it can actually absolutely have the adverse effect.
Right.
Yeah, and what I will say is that you quickly got to figure out where your time is best spent and what is your expertise. So I know for a fact I'm not a big social media person. I do not like social media. So I hired Charlton Associates, which is the social media manager, which is Michelle's business, which we'll hear about shortly. But I knew that wasn't the best use of my time. And what you have to do is figure out who are those experts. I think you heard you've heard all of our business owners, entrepreneurs speak about making sure you have the right experts in the room and at the table with you so that you can be successful.
And I have to give Miss Skinner a shameless plug. She's on the spotcity.com platform, and she's actually had the opportunity to do a couple of, she's contracted with us to do a couple social media presentations for small businesses. And she has been amazing. So I say too, finding your passion, because clearly that's Michelle's passion, and she's doing a good job at it.
Right. I love it. And thank you for that. And you're right. I mean, it's been very rewarding, and it's something a lot of people, it's like sort of this black box, what do we do and what don't we do when it comes to social media? So you're right. We had someone in the audience, Katrina Burgess. She asked, how important is it to create an organizational structure, like when you're small? And that sort of ties into, getting a hold of your resources and finding out what you're expert at.
I think it's super important because she mentioned something when you're small. So when you're small, you're wearing a lot of hats. So it's important to tap into an organizational structure where you have almost your mentors, your go-to, someone you can talk to about your legal work, someone you could talk to about your finance, someone you could talk about, hey, this idea that I'm trying to flush out, do you think the market will be receptive of that? Again, getting back to doing your research, and then also asking people questions. I mean, you can turn up a survey yourself and put it out there. I'm thinking about this to see how the market receives what you're doing. So organizational structure will be extremely key for you, because you'll wear a lot of hats. You'll start going in one direction. I think Bambi said it's fluid, and all of a sudden something else happens. So being able to have some structure will be a game changer in growing that business and moving it forward.
Yeah, and it also helps you to not waste time and money, right? Because when you're small, that's one thing you're limited to. So understanding with your people, knowing what their role is when you assign them, when you hire them, is very critical. You hold them accountable to do that. And like for my company, after like at least twice a year, we meet to have strategic hires or strategic certificates or anything like that, because if we have like a big contract we're looking at, it's going to be expected to win, because government, they don't award things for a year out. So you have time, but you might have to hire like 50 people. I may need another HR person. So strategically, you need to know how your organization is structured and what you need in that time frame. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that is. Janet Flower, she offered a resource for those watching, socialmediaexaminer.com. We don't know what that is, so that we are co-signing, but she did put that out there. So thank you, Janet, for trying to help out our small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on to the last two, my last question is, same thing I asked our former panelists, what do you know now that you would tell yourself early on?
I would say trust the process. So early on, I'm the daughter of an entrepreneur, had entrepreneur uncles, helped my dad build his business, a multi-billion-dollar business early on. And I knew that I had helped, and I knew that, some of my skill set, but I didn't trust my journey. I didn't trust my process. I always worried about what I didn't know, but I mean, you fill in those gaps. We talked about that. I needed to trust the process and then do my best. Always do your best. And then you just trust the journey as a result of that.
Yeah. For me, I'm a little impatient sometimes. Know that things are not going to happen overnight, first of all, because you put a response, you want it right away. You want everything to happen right. You have to be patient and, I guess it's like following the process, but no, it's not going to happen overnight. And one thing I find that's very critical is you have to invest in yourself, just because now you're a CEO or something like that. Like for me in IT business, I keep my certifications up. I keep my skill sets up because, one day I might put my resume back out there again or something like that. So when you're confident enough that your business is good or maybe that you don't want to do it, you still know that you will land on your 2 feet. And that's everyone's biggest concern. And I'm not going to land my 2 feet. But I always know that I have my my degrees, my certificates, my, networking. You have to invest in yourself too, along with all the businesses. Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, love that. Desiree Hughes, and I'm sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. You asked, how relevant is a company website in comparison to a social media presence? I'll tell you, it's very, very important. Absolutely. Because it legitimizes your business as being legitimate. Every business has a website, so you need that as well as the social media presence. You can't just have one without the other.
If I can share a story.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Robin.
No, I was just saying, usually one site links to another, right? You don't just put your website out without having a Twitter link or other links. So therefore, it is very definitely critical to have that presence out there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, you guys are spot on. I remember working in helping, and I was talking to a major corporation. I was bringing source, and I was working for a nonprofit, bringing businesses to this major corporation. And she's a woman that had lots of skills in supplier diversity and bringing small companies to large businesses. And she said, you know what? She said, I'm in a one-on-one. If they don't have a website, we don't believe they do business that they say they do. So she told me right away, ensure that if you have a website and ensure that your value is being shown there. If you say I wash cars and it's nowhere on their website, we don't believe you do that. So it's absolutely critical to have a website that shows the way you want to show your business.
Yeah, I have to
agree. And a website is a living site too. I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say a website, your business plan is a living document. Your website has to be a living site too, and
yes.
You have to keep updating and growing with it as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. I was going to say the first thing I'm doing is looking at your website, because there are so many companies just popping up selling this or that. I'm looking to see if your website, like you said, Robin, is not kept up to date. I'm like, no, they're scamming. So it's very important, right? Well, thank you, ladies. Again, we'll bring you back out with our other guests for some last minute advice. I mean, I really appreciate you being here and sharing parts of your journey with us. So we'll see you again shortly. So this part of our program, we're going to discuss at-home businesses. I think we saw a proliferation of at-home businesses, especially once the pandemic hit, when people were furloughed or lost their jobs. People were looking for some income. So I think we've all had some experience with starting companies from at home. So I'll let Angelique start, because her whole family are entrepreneurs. And so Angelique, please share your family's journey in starting your businesses at home.
Sure. Well, entrepreneurial spirit is just kind of in me and my husband's, and my husband, I only have one, I don't have two, and my kids. But I'll start, my mom has owned different types of businesses throughout her life, and so I grew up with them. But she currently has a holiday decorating company. And so she'll come into your house and decorate your home for holidays. That was put on hold with COVID. So that's one of those things that's a little bit hard to shift with COVID. But then we go to my husband, who has owned a catering company for quite a while. He's Jerry Q Barbecue. He's got the website. He's got the social media, like we just talked about. But really that started out of the passion. So what you'll hear through my quick story is, for me, it's really about passion, because being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. Working for yourself is hard. And so it really is harder than going up and working for somebody else, because that's easy. You can dissociate from that. But when you are when you're living out your own business, you want it to be right. So you got to have passion. So my husband had a passion for cooking, and everyone would say, oh, your food is so good. Your food is so good. And he loved the way people responded when they ate his food. So I said, why don't you start a business? You cook, you like to cook, start a catering company. And he barbecued competitively. And from there was born Jerry Q Barbecue, which has grown to sizes we couldn't have imagined. He does a lot of corporate catering now. And then my business is Just for Girlfriends. And that, again, was from the passion of me feeling like women are so busy taking care of everything and everybody that we don't take care of ourselves. I will say, paired with the fact that I love to throw a good party. and I love to put on events.
And
True.
it shows. I
Very
mean,
true.
your events are awesome.
So I love experiences. I've always been an experience person. And then when I put my passion of helping women and putting together these really unique, engaging, over the top events, it just paired up well. And in fact, we talk about, again, friends and family and things. Sherelle said, Angelique, you got something, start a business. Michelle jumped in, I'm with you. Robin was like, you don't even have to finish the website. I'll sign up. I'll be your first one. So you have this village around you, and that's how it starts. And then I'll say last, but certainly not least, my 13-year-old, she is a business. So growing up in that entrepreneurial type of household, during the pandemic, she was sitting around and she's at the point where she's like, it's the pandemic. I usually would go try to babysit some kids at this time and I can't. And what can I do? And she said, can I help you with Just for Girlfriends? But at that time, we had just ran across a little product called Color Street. And she liked it and she was doing her nails because guess what? You couldn't go to the nail salon either. And I said, well, you know what? Why don't you sell Color Street? And I'll run it through Just for Girlfriends. And it was a great way to teach a teenager how to run a business. So we started everything from creating a business plan, figuring out who her clients were, public speaking. I made her sit down and do Excel spreadsheets for all of the finances. I gave her seed capital. So she got her first experience with seed capital, but I didn't make her pay back the seed capital. So she knew that. So everything from seed capital to revenue, to marketing expenses, to getting out there and doing that sales pitch, really combining everything we've heard from all of our amazing business owners today, I put into that Color Street business. So don't ever let anybody tell you that where you buy a business and you work it, that can't be successful, because it can't. Because I can tell you, this 14-year-old made, between October and December of last year, she made like $4,000 just selling Color Street. And she got on social media and started plugging social media. So it was really it was profitable for her.
I think that is amazing. And I think the point that resonates with me the most is that a lot of this is born of passion and of use. And I can say the same thing for me. You know, I am a lawyer by training, but, you know, once I got on social media, I was one of those people that was always on social media. And I found myself being intrigued by why some businesses were doing better than others. Started running my own little tests to see, you know, how people react to different types of posts. Then I started getting the training and the certifications that Robin was talking about. And I said, you know what? I could help people with this. So that is how Charlton and Associates was born. And I can say it's something that I truly enjoy. Now, you do work a lot. I think you've heard all of our business owners say that, but when it is born of passion and it's for you, it doesn't really seem like work. It seems like, okay, I'm getting paid to have fun here. And you're right, you do have to put a lot of time in it. And most recently, I started another business. As you can see, you guys see my lashes?
I see them, girl.
I started using these magnetic lashes during the pandemic. A friend, another Just for Girlfriends member, introduced me to them. And I know I had to be her best customer. I was like, every month, let me get that new style. Oh my God, I love this. And she was like, you know what? You need to join me in this business because you are at least save on your own lashes. Because I mean, I could save on my own. And it's turned out to be something that I really enjoy also. You know, it's so easy to do. But it's not something that you just jump in without any planning. Like Angelique said, it is a real business. You're outlaying some capital and you're getting people to trust you, you know, as you are promoting your product. So you have to do some research into the product, into what sells and how to market. But all of those things, you know, you have resources like Spot City and other resources that are readily available. And you got to use your village. I bounce ideas off of them all the time because, you know, I'm one of those ones like, I'm going to do this, and this. Okay, let me just take a step back and see if this is crazy or not. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate my village for pumping me up when I'm onto something, or if they're like, well, maybe you need to rethink that. If I'm just doing too much, you know? So we're almost done. I think at this point, I want to bring back all of our business owners. And I think we're going to have a rapid fire round of something that they want you to take away. So
As they're coming back, I'll just add one thing as everyone's coming back in. Because I know some people feel like, okay, I have a real job, and how do I stop that to do my side job? And I want to say you don't necessarily have to right away. So just as Michelle said, I am Chief Operating Officer and General Counsel for an investment bank. That's my day job. But you just heard me say, I run Just for Girlfriends. I help my daughter with Color Street. I help my husband with Jerry Q. So you really can do more. You might be up at 12:30 at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, but if you have a passion for these other businesses, it will all come together.
That's so true.
And I want to add in there, as I am not an entrepreneur, I've had what I call side hustles along the way. It is okay to be a supporter of your friends in their businesses. Let me tell you, I don't know how to put on a lash today, but I will buy magnetic lashes from Michelle any day and clothes from Tanya any day. And now I have a new vendor that I can use for IT that I can reach out to now. And I have Bambi, that sort of thing. And so it is equally as important for these businesses to thrive with support. And so be a supporter of your small businesses, of your friends' businesses, of your sister's businesses.
So important. You're right, Robin. We definitely appreciate you because, you know,
Yes, we
having a loyal supporter can make all the difference. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And Robin and I have been,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Robin and I have been friends for more years than I'll share because that's going to give up her age.
No, you were 10 and she was 12. Remember?
And she's older than me.
But she's always been she always have been such an amazing supporter of me. So it is absolutely great to have a Robin in your life.
Yeah, and you know, to just tack on to that, I will say an explanation point when it comes to Black and brown businesses. We have to support one another.
Yes.
We just have to do that. And don't always be so critical. Give people grace. You know, yes, you want people. I saw that, Bambi.
That's true, though.
That's
that
right.
is so true.
But give people
hard on each other. We are so
right. We get so hard on each other. Don't do that.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I went to Chipotle yesterday. They had the order jacked up, but did I say I'm never going to go back to Chipotle? No, I'll give them another chance. So I mean, we have to do the same thing. I'm going to get it right the next time. Right.
That's right.
Make sure we give people grace and talk to each other.
Well, yeah. I do have one thing I want to share. Spot City is going to have a Christmas house decorating contest. Well, we will be giving a surprise. I know we'll be giving prizes, monetary prizes for the winner. I know we're all over COVID, womp, womp. So I want to do something, Spot City want to do something fun and festive. So we're going to announce a Christmas decorating house contest. You'll start to see the information in social media probably in about a week. So if you're interested in Christmas and you love decorating, be sure to submit your home pictures or your storefront to us so that you can be in the contest.
That is fun.
That's
I need to hire Angelique's mom.
Miss Alice, that's right.
Right.
I was thinking that.
So I can get into it. Okay, so before we close out, I'd like for our other business owners to, if you just wanted to give one piece of advice as you're parting to someone who may be trying to start or grow their business. Bambi, starting with you, what would you like someone to know?
To just start wherever you are, you don't have to have everything perfect. You don't have to have the team. And strategically, I'm not saying just go out there crazy and spend your last dollar, but I just learned to just leap. The net will appear for you. So just take a chance on yourself. We take a chance. We work for other people. I never call and say, hey, is that check really going to be there after I'm hired? No, I trust that they're going to do that. So I just think to leap and trust yourself, invest in yourself.
Sherelle,
we've got 40 minutes, so we got to be rapid fire. 40 seconds.
I would say fill your gaps. You don't know it all as an entrepreneur, and you don't have to. So fill your gaps because those gaps are important in the business. If you don't like finance is absolutely important in the business. So fill your gaps and get those people that can help you.
Robin A.
When you start your business, no matter what you do, become indispensable to your customers, and then they will always come back. They always come back to you. Make sure you're always on top of things, doing what you're supposed to do, and you have a customer for life.
That's great advice. I think we lost Tanya, but before we go, I want everybody that is listening to know we have something very special coming up in 2 weeks. Yep, Just for Girlfriends is going to have a pop-up show on November 23rd, and it's going to be the J4G Shopping Network. So you'll hear from these beautiful ladies and some of our other business owners, and you'll actually be able to support their businesses, buy their products, buy their services for yourself or for someone that you love. And it's just in time for Christmas. But we have Tanya back. Tanya, what parting advice would you like to give a budding entrepreneur before we leave?
Understand your market and your customer.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Do some of that research? Yeah. That'll make you go far. So, oh my God, thank you so much for your time and attention this afternoon. We gave you a lot of information. You have something to chew on, I'm sure. If you have additional questions that we have not been able to get to, put them in the comment section. We will be visiting those comments and interacting with you there. Also, please like and share this video. There's someone that you know, someone that you love, someone that has their own business that could benefit from some of this information. Please share it with them. And again, Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends will be doing a pop-up shop on November 23rd. And we'll be back for another episode of Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends the first Tuesday in December 7th. And that will be on creative ways for therapy. That's always important, especially around that time of the year. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.